This video is about why I stopped smoking. Currently, I honestly don't track the days just because it wasn't that much of a hindrance for me to where, like, I was never a big time smoker. I'll start by saying that. Um, it was more so a sporadic thing for me. I really was doing it out of being, if I'm being realistic with myself, it was me being a follower. Now, I'm not saying this is for everybody. If you're watching this video, you might be thinking about quitting smoking or want to quit smoking, or you might not even, you probably smoking a blunt right now. Who cares? That's live your life. This is just my personal experience and why I quit. It might work for some people. That's why I never really preach to people don't do something, because that might help you. It might actually do something for you. I know a lot of people who will tell me, "Oh, I can still smoke. I can smoke before I go to a workout and have a great workout." Me personally, if I smoke before a workout, I'm gonna be in that motherfucker. Book. Okay, let's stop cussing. I'm trying to make this channel like a little bit, you know what I'm saying, PG. Not saying it's gonna be a PG channel, but I'm trying to limit my cuss words. That might be another video I'll talk about. Anyway, let's get back on track. Not smoking. Kind of lost. See, I get to yapping and lose track of where I was. But in these videos, there will be no edits, no cuts. This is raw. This is authentic. This is me. So let's get back to why I stopped smoking. Oh yeah, I was basically saying that I can't do the same things that other people might be able to do when they smoke. And I know a lot of people will compare themselves. Well, oh, Snoop Dogg smokes every day, and look where he is. Wiz Khalifa smokes every day. Look where he is. You're not Snoop Dogg. You're not Wiz Khalifa. You're you, and you need to understand that and be realistic with yourself. So I'm just gonna give my personal experience, and then I'll speak on how I feel it. Now, all I really honestly with this channel, all I'm gonna be doing is giving my personal experiences. And if you could take anything from it and grow from it, then kudos. But if not, it is what it is. I'm not gonna be on here trying to preach. That's not the type of guy I am. I've always been that type of person, like lead by example. Like even when I played football, my coaches I've always been like one of the best when it comes to in my class or whoever I'm around, like whether it be in the fast, just one of the more talented people. So I'm always would be looked at to be a leader. But I was never the vocal leader. I was always the person, okay, I'm going to do what I do, and hopefully you can see me doing what I do and follow it. You know what I'm saying? And if not, hey, it is what it is, but I can only focus on myself. So with this is basically me doing that. I'm giving my advice on how I got through it, and maybe you can take from it. With that being said, I guess I'll just start from the beginning of my smoking journey. The first time I ever smoked was in high school, in about my sophomore or junior year, I'm pretty sure. And it was outside of some bleachers. My friends would smoke. They would go outside the bleachers at my school, and they would smoke. And then one day I went with them like in lunchtime and did it for the first time. It was like a group of us. I hit it one time and was high the whole day. Not gonna lie, did it one time, was high. After that, it wasn't like I was hooked. I've never been the addictive type, especially to something that I know it's not good. And I was raised with good parents, so I knew that wasn't something that I should be doing. I was just doing it, young kid, you know what I'm saying? It happens. Anyway, I did that for the first time, and then probably the second time I did it, I had a friend, and then again, this is me talking about how the people you hang around will influence what you do. Because again, that's why I said I think the only reason I smoked was because I was being a follower. It was a bad habit of me being a follower, trying to fit in. I didn't even need to do that. I was already in my own lane. I didn't need to do that stuff to fit in. I wasn't that type of person who was like an outlier and was trying to fit it. That I just did it just to, it happens. You kids, you make mistakes. You try to fit in. You try to be like the rest of your friends. You think it's cool. So basically, I was trying to be cool. One of the friends I used to hang out with, we had started together when we got back into when I got back into it. It was with one of my friends who I used to go over his house a lot, and it was just like an experimental thing. Like we didn't do it all the time, but it started ramping up. You know what I'm saying? It never got to a point where I was doing it consistently, but for him, he was doing it more consistently. And me hanging around him, there was times I'd be like, okay, I'm not doing it, but it was time like, you know what, might as well. With that being said, all throughout college, I probably could count on one. I mean, high school, I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I smoked. It really started when I got to college. When I got to college, I had always watched the movies. I'm sure y'all all watched it too, with how the college experience should be. And I ended up going to college, a small college in Ada, Oklahoma called ECU. It was nothing to do out there. Very hillbilly type place. Nothing but white girls. You know what I'm saying? Not my cup of tea at all. But it was. I had to make what it had to do what it do. You know what I'm saying? Ended up getting there, and there was nothing other than play out. And I went to school to play football. That was my main thing. So I got there, but it was nothing else to do but play football and then go to little house parties. It was nothing to do really. If you're from a small city like that, or been to a school in a small city like that, you understand what I'm talking about. But it was nothing to do but smoke, drink, and go to parties, hang with your friends. Everybody that I was around, and again, this attributes to be controlling who you hang around. And I'm gonna just tell my story and I'll get to that in the end. Let me lock in. Anyways, the guys I was hanging around, that's what they used to do. They smoked every day before practice. They'll smoke after practice. They'll smoke before they go to a party. They'll smoke at the parties. It was just, I got introduced to it. That was my introduction to it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know what marijuana was until I got to my sophomore year in high school, honestly. And once I got to college, I started, these motherfuckers do this before practice? They do this shit before the games? It was a shell shock for me. I didn't realize that they was actually doing this stuff and was able to lock in. And me hanging around them more, and I hung around. I've always been the type I hung around the cooler crowd. Not saying that I did it just to trying to fit in, but that's just I was one of the cooler kids. You know what I'm saying? So I always hung around the cooler crowd. I was with the starting football player. He came in freshman year. He was starting football player, so I hung around him. And I had another friend who played receiver. And that was my crew. You know what I'm saying? So we was always out. We was at all the functions. And he was pulling all the girls, and I seen he was pulling all the girls, and he was smoking, pulling all the girls. Girls would come over, they would smoke. He was pulling them. I'm like, man, I kind of want to be like that. And that, again, it was me being a follower. I want to be like that. I want that lifestyle. So guess what? I started doing it too, more and more. And I was the type of motherfucker it was obvious that I didn't belong. Anytime I would smoke with them or with anybody, I was a motherfucker who would start tweaking out, acting out of body. Like a motherfucker who ain't never touched drugs, like a kid who ain't never touched drugs before. I would literally be tweaking out. I was one of those. Not saying I'm on some shit, but I'm all over, just you know that motherfucker who's just not used to smoking. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I was high as hell. That whole first year I was high as hell. Even now, I was only at that school for 2 years, but regardless, the whole time I was high as hell. It was obvious that I was high. It wasn't a thing that I could hide. So I was doing that stuff, and slowly but surely, I started showing up late to meetings, started showing up late to classes. It was building up bad habits for me. You know what I'm saying? It was, and I didn't realize it then. I only realized once I got older. I took accountability, because I'm that type of guy. I never blame the situation for what happened. I always see what I could have did better myself. So I know, I ended up getting kicked off of that team for showing up late to meetings, and but that'll probably be a whole nother video. Again, this give me a whole bunch of video ideas. But I ended up getting kicked off of that team for being late to meetings, and I think a lot of it attested to me building bad habits over time, hanging with these guys, doing what they was doing, and they was used to it, so they could handle it. They was still showing up to meetings on time. I'm showing up late. Everybody else could do it. They could handle it, but I couldn't, because I was doing something that wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward, probably all the way up. I'm just gonna skip to the part where I ended up quitting smoking, which was probably around. I haven't smoked in about, I don't know, maybe about seven months. But prior to that, I've never, even throughout college, the most I smoked was in college. After that, I've never been a heavy smoker. I'll smoke probably, I could smoke once every blue moon and be good on some stuff. So me stopping wasn't hard, but I realized, especially with making content and it being my full-time thing, and whenever I smoke, I'm super lazy. me personally, I can't do anything. All I want to do is lay on the couch. It doesn't motivate me. It doesn't help me it doesn't benefit me in any type of way. It doesn't drown out any type of mental pain I have. If anything, it comes back tenfold when I'm not high, and then I just have to do it again. But then it hides it, but it comes right back out when I'm not smoking. And I realize it's not a good habit. Also, you realize you spending too much money. And I was doing it a little bit. I can only imagine how much money people spending when they do that every day, who's smoking every day. And I'm a frugal person. I don't like spending money. So the fact that I was doing that and I knew it wasn't even benefiting me, okay, that was another big reason why what helped me stop doing it. You know what I'm saying? But as far as posting content, I wasn't even able to do that because it just made me want to lay on the couch. I didn't feel like doing anything. I didn't feel like going to the gym. I get the munchies, so I start eating everything in my kitchen. Now I ain't got no fucking food. Now I gotta get more groceries. End up spending more money. Now I'm getting bigger. My face started looking it started messing with your skin. Your lips start looking black. All type of stuff, bro. Just stuff I don't like. I don't like smelling like smoke. I don't like looking like it. I don't like the stuff it does to your face. And what I will say, for anybody who does smoke, I'm sure if you've ever stopped smoking for a long time, and I'm not saying stop smoking for a week, maybe even a month. I'm sure if you stop smoking for a month, you've seen the difference it made on your face. Like just that alone. I think we can all attest that if you've ever been smoking consistently and you stop smoking, you realize your face starts to brighten up, your lips starts to brighten up, you lose them dark spots on the darkness on your lips. And all that type of stuff. But me personally, I don't even drink anymore. And again, I feel like if I do, it's a follower thing. Now I am going to Houston this weekend. I'll probably make some videos there. I will make videos there. I'm staying consistent. But probably drink there because it's my birthday. That's the only reason I'm going. It's my birthday. My birthday's always on spring break, so I will be down there. That's a whole nother video, regardless. But anyway, even that, I think that's a negative habit. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, this is just me being realistic with myself. I can easily say it's okay to have a drink every now and then, but you gotta understand how I grew up. I didn't grow up around that. My parents don't smoke. My mom will have a sip of wine every now and again. My dad doesn't smoke or drink. Never seen him smoke or drink. So that's what I had to look up. That's what I had to look up to. So it's me not quitting them things. It's never like I don't have that influence in me to say, well, it's okay to drink sometime just because my dad never did it and he's successful. That's why my experience is different. That's why I really can't tell other people how to think or tell people others to stop doing that stuff because it might help them. But just me personally, I don't feel like I need that stuff. I don't feel like I need to be drunk to feel good. I don't feel like I need to be drunk to have fun. I can do that. I don't need to be drunk to talk to girls. I can do that sober. I honestly think I do it better sober. If anything, I start to overthink when I'm under the influence. I stop, and what made it easier for me to stop smoking, I stopped hanging around them people who smoked. I had to cut them off. We can still be cool from a distance, but I can't hang with you no more. Because I know that's my biggest takeaway from somebody in this video if you're trying to stop smoking, you have to distance yourself from the people who still have those habits. You're trying to stop smoking, trying to stop drinking, trying to stop doing whatever negative habit you're doing. Stop hanging around the people who doing it because odds are you don't have a strong enough will to not do it when you're around it. And I feel like I have a very strong will. I'm very disciplined, very consistent. But I know myself. If I'm telling myself I'm going to stop this and I'm around somebody who's doing it every time, I'm not strong-willed enough to say to hit if somebody's gonna pass me a blunt and for me to be like, nah, I'm good. I might better do it one day. I might better do it 2 days. I might better do it 3 days. But eventually, I'm gonna hit that blunt. I'm gonna do it. Eventually, I'm gonna take that shot. If you're trying to pass me a shot every day, I'm gonna take it. So I just distanced myself from it. And what I realized when I did it, I grew. I outgrew. Not saying that I'm bigger than anybody or anything, but I outgrew them, you know? I'm sure you know what I mean by that. I started building better habits. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it just leads to it just leads down a path. Now, there's some people, again, this is not everybody. But a lot of people who I notice who do that consistently all the time, they build negative habits. They build bad habits by doing that. You know what I'm saying? It takes you down the path that it takes them down the path that I don't want to go through. It makes them very complacent, very settled, because you drowning out everything instead of dealing with them problems you have. You drowning them out with the drugs and with the liquor, and you never face them. And I feel like a lot of the biggest part of I tested my growth is me being uncomfortable and putting myself in uncomfortable positions, forcing myself to deal with things instead of drowning them out, because eventually it's always gonna come back to light. So yeah, my biggest takeaway is just distance yourself from those friends. I know it will be hard, but that's something if that's something you actually want to stop doing, that has to be your first step. You know what I'm saying? Stop going to the clubs. I don't even like going to the clubs no more, because it's just a whole bunch of, if you're not drunk, you don't feel like you are even supposed to be there, because everybody there is fucking drunk and they doing dumb shit, and when you're sober, you just look at them like, what the fuck are y'all what the fuck are y'all doing? Nah, the whole club culture, that's a whole nother video in itself. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna stay on the focus of why I stopped smoking though. But yeah, that's my reasoning. And I feel like it has helped me. I don't plan on smoking again. And it's really, I know it's easy to say, okay, I'm gonna stop smoking, but it's probably not gonna be forever. I took that thought out of my mind. It's not gonna be forever. Why can't it be forever? If you know it doesn't help you, since I know it doesn't help me, why not just stop? Why does there need to be a time that I do it? Even if I go on vacation, like some people like, it's okay, you relax. Okay, that's fine, maybe, but no, I don't need that. I don't need it. It doesn't help me. It doesn't. I'm throwing the maybe out, like it doesn't do anything good for me. I want to be present in my thoughts. I don't want to be in space. I want to be here. I want to feel it. I want to be able to feel what's going on. I want to be able to process it in my own way and figure it out. I also realize it messed with my memory a lot. I start forgetting stuff that I shouldn't, being more, because I've always been like kind of a forgetful person, but I feel like smoking made it a little bit worse. Like, especially when I'm high, I forget everything, boy. I'll lose anything. I mean, pair of headphones I ran through in my time of smoking. Let me tell you, I done lost my wallets, just be leaving stuff everywhere. Don't remember what I did with nothing, can't remember nothing. It got that deep. But yeah, man, that's my take on smoking. Again, this is not a video telling me to trying to get me to make you stop smoking. This is just my take and why I stopped smoking. If you got anything from it, good. If you didn't, it is what it is. Appreciate you for watching. Anyway, you still my dog. I still rock with you. Just can't hang with you for real. That's what you're doing every day. Me personally, can't hang with that. I gotta hang with people who do the same things I do and move the same way I move. It is what it is. Still rock with you though. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all engage in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Comment. Let me know if y'all like these type of videos. I've been stacked. Obviously, y'all see I'm running. This is all the videos I made in one night. I don't know if these will be. I'll post 3 a day, 2 a day, 1 a day. Regardless though, I probably end up doing 3, because I'm gonna be doing these a lot. I'm gonna end up needing to get another SIM card strictly for vlogging, because I also have a main page that I post content on, but those are more like official videos I put a little bit more time editing to. This page, I want to keep it raw, I want to keep it me, want to keep it authentic, so that's what we're doing. But regardless, man, that's why I stopped smoking. Hopefully you learn from it, or it helped you in some type of way. That's why my goal for all these videos, hopefully they help you in some type of way. But yeah, catch you in the next one.